Good afternoon. We'll begin your
Afternoon.
speaking test now. Okay. Do you prefer spending your holidays with friends or with family?
I think I personally find more enjoyment spending them with family. I know hanging out with my friends is like super fun, and I get to have it's sort of a different enjoyment that I have than when I have with my family because there's more like an acquaintanceship than being like blood connected to someone. So it's like a form bond, and yeah, I have lots of fun with my friends. But on a personal level, I really enjoy having vacations with my family because they're these like nice, relaxed, long trips, and I personally feel more comfortable with my family than I do my friends. So when it comes to like dedicated long lengths of time, I would definitely prefer to be in spaces where my family can be my sense of company as opposed to my friends.
All right. So, what kind of holiday accommodation do you like to stay in?
Um, I think my favorite sort of stay when I'm on vacation is definitely hotels because I really like the sort of luxury feeling that they provide and the dedication to service that they have. So when I sit in a hotel, it's like a marker for me, like a checkpoint to know, yeah, this is my vacation now. I've fully entered into vacation mode. And so it's really fun when I get to, check into new hotels and spend time with the people I'm with in those hotels. It's like a little space, even though it's basically like recreating a home, it's like a temporary home, outside home, just for fun. So I really enjoy hotels as my primary means of staying.
Nice. So, what type of plans do you have for your next holiday?
I think for my next holiday, I really want to visit someplace in Europe because I have always been really interested in that area of the world, and yet, even any of my travels, I don't think I've properly gotten to explore Europe as it is. So I'm definitely ambitious to go and explore the countries all across Europe. I want to see places like Germany, for instance, go see the architecture because I'm a huge fan of architecture. So I want to see the different architecture they have in places like Germany, Belgium, and all the museums they have there, or go visit France and see the Eiffel Tower in Paris. So Europe is definitely on my bucket list for next vacations to go to.
Lovely. So, is your city or region a good place for other people to visit on holiday?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say so. My region is very like beautiful in its nature. It's very scenic. It's full of trees and grass, but there's like growing vegetation within the city. So it's an incredible sight to look at, and I think it is already a very popular place for people who are traveling, especially within the same country, that they'll like to visit where I'm living right now. So it's a great place to be, and I definitely think it's a popular spot, especially because we live next to a nice mountain range, which is an awesome place for hikes and traveling. Is like my family as well. When we first came here, we did a lot of sightseeing and viewing, and the sights are really just so attractive here. So yeah, because of the incredible scenery in my place, I would agree that this place is definitely a popular area for tourists and visitors.
All right. Now, I'm going to give you a topic to talk about for 1 to 2 minutes. You will have 1 minute to prepare, and you can make some notes to help you. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Here's the topic, and here is your space to make notes.
Thank you.
No problem.
A car journey I can think of that took much longer than anticipated. Probably the most disastrous one that I've been on was a trip I took with my family when I was going to visit my friends in a city next to us. The car ride was initially supposed to take approximately 3, 4 hours to get there, just driving across the highway from one city to another. And if I recall, it took maybe 7 or 8 hours instead. Um, And I remember being very stressed because we were supposed to be there at a set time and we were essentially hours late to when we were supposed to see our friends. And the delay was caused by an incident actually that happened on the highway. There was a car incident, I think a car crash that blocked off a bunch of roads. So we had to take a number of detours, drive another few roads, and which basically doubled our time. So yeah, it was definitely very stressful time, and I think a lot of my family was basically walking on needles the whole time because we all knew we were arriving super late to meet what were our family friends that we hadn't seen in a long time. So it was a pretty stressful situation and definitely a much longer trip than was planned. But I think it was resolved okay. We arrived in the end, and we still managed to meet up with our friends. So, but yeah, that was the longest car ride, and much longer than I expected that I could.
All right, nice. Now, on the topic of car rides, can you tell me, are young people in your country when it comes to learning to drive?
Um, Young people in my country, they're probably normalized the idea of learning to drive. I think it's almost a standard that by the time you're reached around 16, you can start learning how to drive, and it's almost a responsibility that you need to learn how to drive. So I'd say they've essentially internalized that as a responsibility that they have to have as they're growing up, as they're maturing. So in terms of how they feel about it, and even myself, how I feel about it, I think it's just more like an expectation. And because it's been set as sort of a symbol for growing up, then young people are definitely very excited when it comes to that because they're marking a step forward in their life. I mean, me personally, when I get to drive a car, got to learning how to drive. I was very basically learning in full anticipation of being able to sit behind the steering wheel and finally drive. So yeah, I'd say there's a lot of again a big expectation as it is. It's sort of normalized, but there's definitely a lot of excitement associated with it.
Okay, so what are the differences between driving in the countryside and driving in the city?
I think the difference really is just a matter of traffic because the city is so densely populated. There's so many cars everywhere and tons of roads. So everybody is always in a rush or they're always trying to get by and get to places on time and struggling through all the people. Meanwhile, in the countryside, because it's so rural and there's less people, then with such a sparsely populated area, it's almost a liberating area to drive in because you don't have to rush as much or get as stressed out because it's definitely a much more stressful environment in the city. So a big difference between them is just the huge amount of traffic. And I personally much prefer being able to drive in the countryside because it's way more relaxed that way.
All right, so where you live, do you consider most drivers to be good drivers?
I think, yeah, most drivers are definitely responsible and equipped well with their license. There's a very specific process to training to getting your license. So yeah, I think most drivers, including young drivers, old drivers, they're all pretty responsible with driving, and the roads are safe enough. So I would say that they're pretty responsible when it comes to driving. Yeah.
All right, so how popular are electric cars in your country?
I'd say they're actually very popular nowadays, especially because they're considered like the new sort of model that everyone should have. It's almost become a trend that people should have these electric cars, and it's a good thing because it helps the environment a lot and it takes up less fuel and releases less emissions. So, electric cars are definitely being popularized at faster rates, especially where I live. It's a technology that's really being.
This response demonstrates a solid Band 8 performance. The speaker communicates fluently, responding to questions naturally and without noticeable hesitation. Their vocabulary range is advanced and well suited to the task, while their grammar is both accurate and flexible. Sentences are varied in length and structure, which creates a smooth and engaging flow. That said, the answer could be pushed closer to a Band 9 level through further development. For instance, the speaker could add more specific details, such as naming the region they are from, highlighting distinctive features of the area, or referencing well-known landmarks. If the topic involves a journey or road trip, mentioning particular cities, towns, or memorable stops along the way would enrich the response. Adding these precise details not only makes the answer sound more authentic and personal, but also avoids the impression of being overly rehearsed or formulaic.